What happens if you fail?
What happens if I fail? Yeah, if I fail, a lot of things went wrong. I've put my heart and soul into this business, so it dies with me. There's nothing I won't do to make this business succeed.
Austin is a beautiful city. The parks, the roads, the buildings. Without the men and women in service roles, our city wouldn't be what it is today. But this career choice doesn't have a playbook. And business ownership goes far beyond performing the service. Uncertainty and sacrifice. Sunrise to sunset. Keating Kuhn is forging his own path, inspiring future generations to come. Here's the story of Gold Eagle Services.
My name is Keating Kuhn, and my company is Gold Eagle Services. We specialize in heating and air conditioning, indoor air quality, and insulation, and we service the greater Austin area. A little bit about me. I was born in Canton, Ohio. Till I was about 10 years old, we moved to Austin, Texas. So that's the only thing I had ever known. I don't think I had been to Austin at that point. Now, Austin in 2005 was a much smaller city than what it is today. Probably put on the map like 10 or 15 years ago and became the metropolitan. Watching Austin change and being a part of that was a part of my journey as well.
Air conditioner repair companies are having a hard time finding parts and employees.
Temps rise, so does the demand for AC techs, a field that, like many others, is facing staffing shortages.
Shortages. This has been going on for about a decade, but
if something doesn't change pretty soon, we're going to have about a 40% shortage of skilled labor.
To counter the problem, there must be more done in the classroom in particular.
There are about 40,000 job openings every year, many of which stem from people leaving the field.
Due to the law of supply and demand, that HVAC work will also cost you more.
We all know that HVAC is very important in Texas. At some point during the high school experience, decided that college just wasn't for me. When I looked at not only the opportunity that was in front of me for an entrepreneurship program, it was really the cost that was the scariest thing, right? Right, I had no path or exact plan in front of me. It was just an unknown. And through our conversations of when I was younger, I had always wanted to start a business. I don't know if anyone just wakes up one day and says, oh, I want to start a business in this field, right? You kind of have opportunities that come across, or you have a skill set. Through trial and error, my skill set just became HVAC. My love for working with my hands and the trade in general, I think, was a perfect combination, but not everyone is that lucky.
Throwing it? Yeah. You think it'll catch? I hope.
I would say the biggest challenge that I faced during this journey was finding out how to balance work and personal life. Through a lot of the first couple of years, my friends were in that college age, and so their schedule was a lot different than mine, right? I was getting up around 6 a.m. every day, and my day really wasn't finishing, especially in the summer, until 7 or 8 p.m. And you're doing that not only Monday through Friday, but you get calls on Saturday and Sunday. And as a small business, when you just start, you don't say no to a customer. You don't say no to a call. I would say the biggest threat to my success is myself. You know, I think you do have fleeting thoughts of something else, right? Something easier. Especially when you run into those very hard obstacles that you can't just chew through in a day, right? You have the 2 hour of sleep nights. You have the stress throughout the day that, you know, you may be able to focus on something for a couple hours, but it's always lingering in the back of your mind. My first couple jobs in the refrigeration space, I feel like that gave me a leg up in the industry. Your mindset coming from a very large system, seeing a million wires, when you're only looking at 3 wires, it becomes a lot easier to learn. A lot of guys have worked for an HVAC company for 10, 20, 30 years and say, man, I can do this myself. They have all this knowledge of how to fix a system, but they don't have the business knowledge. Having my dad in the background do a lot of that business until I was comfortable with it, you know, was certainly instrumental in us being able to grow to the size that we are today. When you're in business with a parent, there's definitely a power struggle that inevitably hits. But we both have very different skill sets, especially with me being in the field and him being in the office. We both trusted each other to handle those aspects. Over the past 7, 8 years, we've both grown a lot of respect for each other in what we've been able to accomplish. I think one of the biggest things that we all know about is that 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, right? And so you get past that 5-year mark, you look back at where you started from and you're like, okay, I at least made it past what 90% of people don't. When we talk about how many times you guys call, there's a certain amount of things that you guys can do before you make that phone call, right? So, you know, just keep in mind that there are 2 of us for now. I'm hoping that a certain amount of things get developed over the next couple of weeks, that you guys just don't need to make as many phone calls because you have a good idea of what's going on already. Part of the motivation stems from creating generational wealth. You know, that was always one thing that kind of thought about, and I think as I've gotten older, it becomes more of a goal. If you're given an opportunity to create wealth for your children and their children as well, I think that, you know, sets you apart from a lot of people, right? Not a lot of people are given that opportunity. You know, our instrumental for our future success is our willingness to go the extra mile for all of our customers, right? I think that really sets us apart in the home service industry, is that we give a time that we're going to show up and we show up on that time. Every day that you grow, every person that you add, every customer that you're able to serve just goes into that long-term vision of keeping that company afloat for 10, 20, 30 years and making it a multi-generational company.
In a society where college is often seen as the sole path to success, 46% of business owners never went to college. Keating and Gold Eagle services quietly shape our community, proving that success knows no predetermined route.